It's just really good play by Navi. Olaf basically almost killed Karthus. Had he gotten the axe and the true damage at the same time, Navi would have died, or Citizen Wayne would have died behind tower. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to. He got counter-striked by Jax and stunned under tower. And he was still there, just being really aggressive because Orianna took everybody really low hit point. And he tanked a couple of tower hits, and Karthus saw an opportunity. He was able to get back to base in time and just channel his ult and pick up Wicked for the first blood. So just let me know when you get back in the game. I'm just gonna solo cast this for as long as I can. And if you need to drop the Skype call, let me know too, so I can look for that to answer. So there is a fight going out in mid. Froggen did get slowed on the wall, and so it's really hard for her to get away. That slow was what allowed Karthus to land so many layaways, and just really the magic shred from it allowed Karthus and Kog'Maw to do just so much damage on Orianna and just take her down for the kill. So right here, there's a gank up top as well. When you see Jax jump on, Lee Sin actually gets that second jump. Even if there's nothing to safeguard too, when there's a Jax in the lane and you want to gank, the synergy is just so amazing. Jax is able to leap strike, so if Jax and Lee Sin start side by side and he doesn't have an opportunity for the resonating strike, he's gonna have Jax be able to just leap strike, counter strike, and stun the target while Lee Sin catches up a little bit, safeguards to Jax, get the crippling Tempest off of, and then with the slow and the stun, he's able to land a resonating strike and the ultimate off. And so that's something to watch out for. Lee Sin Jax is synergizes really well together. So looking at Na'Vi, you definitely know that they put a lot of thought into the composition in terms of countering Leona, in terms of countering Alistar with Janna, and utilizing the synergy between Lee Sin and Jax. So had that gone wrong, Karthus does have his ult up now too. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities for kill. Once again, Na'Vi is in the driving seat for this tournament. They're up 3-0 in terms of kill, and just as this game drags on, this Kog'Maw and this Jax is going to get very strong. Olaf does scale well too, but in terms of Jax, you can only beat Jax out for so long. Once Jax get that lifesteal in, there's just no answer from Olaf. Olaf's one of those champions where you can just chase at somebody, and if they're low hit point, they're basically dead. He doesn't do well against champions with high hit point. And so there is a gank going off on bottom. If Lee Sin is going to be able to get this Q. Oh, he's not actually able to. If he was able to get his resonating strike off and use the ultimate, it would have taken Leona low enough to get killed by Karthus. Unfortunately, he wasn't, so Leona is able to get away. So you see the Jax up top fighting Olaf 1-on-1. If he's able to get the sleep strike off on Olaf, he can actually kill Olaf, but since Alistar did come, he's not going to be able to fight anymore, because if he's able to get headbutt pulverized one more time, Olaf's going to be able to just get up and just throw the axe and finish him off. So he's going to back off and say, hey, I tried, I almost killed him, but this is too dangerous, I gotta back out. So Alistar is in danger. If he doesn't back out, Jax is going to be able to put out just so much damage right now, because Jax is he's so beastly right now. Even though he doesn't have any kills, he's getting to that point where he's got a lot of regen. He's got the gold from Dragon. You know, he's got that Bilgewater Cutlass, and you know, you add that lifesteal from the Bilgewater Cutlass with the 2 Doran's Blade. Even if he's relatively low hit point, if he gets his relentless assault strikes up, he's just gonna output just massive amount of damage in terms of magic damage, physical damage. So definitely in the next 5 minutes, Jax is a force you gotta watch out for. He's getting to the point where he's gonna start snowballing soon, and I don't see Olaf being able to handle him. From the beginning, you see Olaf zoning him a little bit, and as I was saying, you know, you get to that 20 minutes, Jax is gonna start turning the table. However, he's getting there a lot earlier with the Dragon, with the death on Wicked, so even right now, Jax should be able to come out on the exchange every single time. So let's talk more about the mechanics and the meta game for this game. You know, you have the Karthus mid. I think the reason why they like to pick Karthus when there is a Jax and a Kog'Maw is mostly because you have that little safety factor. It basically allows champions to deal about 300 more damage when they're fighting. So if Jax is at the point where he's slightly behind Olaf and he can't really beat him, you know, with that extra global ultimate, he's gonna get to that point where he can start fighting fight Olaf a lot sooner. So and since bottom lane is a lot weaker, you know, you get that extra pressure from mid. It keeps people a little bit wary and they can't overcommit all the time. And so it's just it's basically, you know, when there's like a nuclear war, you have a nuke pointed at somebody all the time, so they always have to be careful. So Dragon is up, both teams are grouping up, looking for that Dragon fight. Na'Vi is definitely a lot stronger, but they're in no rush to fight this. They're in really good shape. If you look at top and mid, people lanes are pushing, so they can just hold this off as long as they're going. But this fight is coming out. Jax got a really good jump in the middle of everybody. He was able to stun 3 or 4 people. However, that Orianna was able to also land onto 3 or 4 people and just counter that engage by Jax. But Na'Vi is at the point where they're just really strong right now. They're able to pick it up regardless of the really good ultimate from Froggen. So it's just one of those fights where CLG got a really just a phenomenal, that's probably the best engage they can think of. Orianna landing her ultimate on 3 or 4 people, and you know, they still lose it. Just because right now Na'Vi is so far ahead that, you know, they can start fighting even at a slight disadvantage and come out ahead. You look at the HP on everybody at Na'Vi, they're all very low. Jax is higher now just because of the life leech, but during that fight it could have gone either way. Yellow Pete was on Lee Sin and Jax, and you know, Lee Sin and Jax was barely able to kill Graves before Graves killed Lee Sin. So, you know, had a couple of hits and or a buckshot gone off a little bit earlier, this game could have turned into COG's favor. So just that little bit of advantage from the early game kills pushed Na'Vi into the situation where they're going to start snowballing, even though their engage wasn't as powerful. At this point in the game, CLG just needs to start making plays. What they need to do is start counter warding, taking away Na'Vi's vision, because they know that the last fight, right, they got a very good initiation on Na'Vi. However, they still lost. That means that they can't win a straight up fight anymore. At this point in the game, if they're gonna fight straight up, they're gonna come out with a disadvantage every single time, and that's gonna allow Na'Vi to pull further and further ahead. So what CLG needs to do at this point is they need to take away Na'Vi's vision of them, and as soon as they can do that, they can start looking for those advantageous fight, ward a little bit deeper, put it in key position, look for players out by themselves, try and pick them off and look for global objectives. Otherwise, if they don't do that, there's just absolutely no way CLG can start coming back with it.
Killing Antigen in the bot lane will help, but Creepo landed his ult, landed his E and his Q. Unfortunately, Pete couldn't quite follow it up. Antigen going to walk out. He did have to use his flash, I believe. No, his flash is already down. So he walked away from that as we've got Codnex waiting to turn towards the red buff. Frogget's here, Froggen's here, but bot lane from COD is pretty close as well. So it's risky for Codnex. He's got back up from Citizen Wayne, as the buff is not actually even spawned yet. They're going to be pretty safe, but 7,000 gold up. They're feeling confident enough to do this risky stuff. He does dash over the wall, finds Yellow Pete and Creepo. Wants to get in onto this kill. The slow goes out from Citizen. Doesn't actually hit Pete. He's going to walk on out of there, but Creepo will get shut down. Codnex grabs that kill with a Q and an auto attack. And Citizen Wayne going to shove this lane for good measure. Grab a couple of little extra CS. Look at the ward coverage they have in this top half of the jungle. Okay, they did go and gank that top lane, but they came in via the mid and warded all the way across. So they knew exactly how much backup CLG had in that bot lane, and now Froggen kicks straight back out towards Antigen and Sand. Slow goes down from Carthus again. Na'Vi are all over the map. He will put his ult down, even though it's on top of his head. Last ditch attempt to get as much damage out as possible, and Na'Vi going to rotate straight round to the Baron. They've killed Olaf thanks to Nezreles and Carthus's global presence, but unfortunately CLG only have 3 members left up. We've got Kroger and Yellow Peak closing in. Do you have Creeper coming down too? Pete, do you have your ultimate? You do. So could we get some kind of long range deal? The Baron is pretty low. Antigen taking Kroger actually really low. Finishes the kill off with nothing but auto attacks. Kroger slightly misjudging his health. Nearly grabs it with that ult from Graves, but now Yellow Pete is exhausted. Flashed after him. One more auto attack from Antigen. 14-3. 10,000 gold advantage for Na'Vi. Lachlan has disconnected. And
that wasn't too bad. You know, Froggen was killed before he disconnected, so in terms of that Baron, you know, Na'Vi was in the driving seat the entire time anyways. There's really no way for CLG to come back from that. They were just so far behind. The best chance they had for coming back and just landing really good ultimates and comboing down on Na'Vi, they had still lost the fight. Even though Na'Vi barely won that fight, you know, that was with a really bad engage by Na'Vi, and they're still able to come out ahead with 2 kills. So that means that, you know, there's nothing that CLG can do in a straight up fight, and you know, you see that throughout the entire game. From that point on, Na'Vi was just way too powerful. You look at Karthus, he was at just massive amounts of CS. He has 8.9k gold versus the second highest, which is at 6.9. And that far ahead, he's just doing massive amounts of damage. Every time he hits that R, everybody on CLG was at about, you know, 60% health. And so